Okay, so I am going to talk about weekly accomplishment sheets and InTouch and how this works. And what I'm going to do is share my screen and be able to kind of take you guys through this. So first of all, anytime you're in a facial, so whether it is in person, on Zoom, on webinar, Facebook, like a Facebook party, anytime you shared the product, then you're going to put that customer in my customers. Okay. So there are 4, sometimes 5 times a year that the company will send lookbooks out for us. And it's called PCP, Preferred Customer Program. And so anytime you're in facial parties, whether it's 1 to 2 people, whether it's 3 to 10 to 12 people, okay, they're all people that have met you. And if they don't have a Mary Kay Beauty consultant, you are now their Mary Kay Beauty consultant. Okay, so you want to nurture the relationship. Okay, so whether they've purchased or not, okay, if they've been into a facial with you, we go into every single party with how many sets can I sell, how many bookings can I get, how many recruiting appointments can I set, and who will be my new team member at the end of this party. Okay, so that is our frame of mind from every single one. So then when you go into my customers, and a lot of times you guys, it's like when you are booking somebody, then if it's for one of our Zoom sessions, even for my in-person parties, I have them go over to our RSVP link and put their information in. Now, as soon as they book with me, they're going to get an email from me that confirms our booking. And right then I give them my marykay.com website link, and I ask them in the email for them to register on my website. Okay. So these are the pre-steps that are going to help you get everybody into InTouch. Okay. But if you did not do that, and that's okay, but you're going to come into InTouch, and at the top here, it says new order. Okay, so not new order. Well, it does say new order, but you're going to hit new customer. So you have their information because they registered on the RSVP link. You just start copy and pasting into, into this new customer field. And honestly, if some of you know how to work with spreadsheets and stuff like that, you can actually pull all of those records that are on our RSVP sheet and you can import them into InTouch as well. And so, but if you're not tech savvy like that, you would just come into this spot where it says new customer, and then we just go back and forth. So I'm going to go to the RSVP response sheet. And so I can pick one of my customers that we play with. So like, well, let me see who, okay. So like I could take, say Jordan. Okay. And so I would highlight her name, and then I'm going to come back over here and I would do Control V for paste. Okay. So it's like, you just go back and forth and you get her information in here. Do you want her to get the beauty news? Do you want, like I usually shut beauty news off, to be honest, because I send emails to my customers. But if you don't send emails to your customer, then let her get beauty news. Do you want her to get product reorder reminders? Do you want her to get a shopping bag reminder? I would say yes. Shopping bag reminder is when they start an order, but then they don't finish it for some reason. Okay. So if you go down, you're filling in her information here. The only thing we don't have, you always check this SMS box. The only thing we don't usually have when they book their first appointment with us is their birthday. And we get that on their feedback form at the end of the party. Okay. So that's usually the only thing I don't get. Now, as far as a tag right here, once they purchase from me, then they go into our PCP tag. And so I just click the tag it says new tag, I put in PCP, and that way we can do a search of all of the people I've been in front of and they purchase something, and they're the people that I send a lookbook to the 4 times or 5 times a year that Mary Kay does the preferred customer program. Okay. Once she's in here, so now like for this particular person, I'll just hit save customer. And what's what's interesting is I really thought she was in there already, so I thought it was going to tell us she wasn't. So then from here, then you're going to, if she ordered something from you, you're going to click new order. And so you go into new order, and then, you have to find the customer that you just put in. So for me, goodness. All right, I guess I'll do a search. So you pull up her name. Oh yeah, so she was already in here, see? So we'll just get rid of the new one that I did. Okay. So we go into her name, and then we're going to go to new order. Okay. Or it already let us do it. Hold on one second. Let me go back on screen. We were already in new order. Sorry, you guys. Okay. So from here, you have the products on hand, or you place the order to come to you and then you're sending it to them. Then you click the method, my inventory. Okay. Then here, you're going to add the product, whatever she got. So say she got the Miracle Set. Let's see if it lets us say that. So let's say she got the Miracle Set, normal to dry, but it was the ultimate Miracle Set. Here we go. All right. So let's just say that's what she got. Okay. So then it put it down here, and then what discounts, from your first party, how much things cost. You always are going to have a sales ticket, and you're going to then put the products on In Touch. So at any time, if one of your customers calls you back and says, hey, what was the shade of that eyeshadow I got last time? You're going to have it in My Customers. Okay. Because you put each of the invoices in My Customers. Okay. So then you go all the way down to the bottom. Did she pay you? I mean, hopefully the answer is yes, right? If, and you don't have to, you can have charged the cards already, because if you hand wrote out the ticket, then 10 to 1, you went right into ProPay, charged her card, where if she Venmoed you or something, okay? So in here, you don't have to enter any of that information in here, okay? Just then paid. You can even put notes on it. She paid me Venmo, she paid cash, she paid check. You can give notes to yourself. These notes are just for you. Then you can save and review the order, or you can mark it as complete. Okay. So I put one thing in there, and so I'm going to hit cancel on this, because I have enough automations set up with my stuff that if I put an order under her name, she's going to get a text message from me that thanks her for the order. So I don't want her to sit there and go, what order are you talking about? Okay. So if we go back now to the weekly accomplishment sheets, anytime you do a customer and you do the customer's order, it goes over and it puts it on your weekly accomplishment sheet for you. Okay. So you are entering her into In Touch as a customer. Then you're going into My Orders, putting her order in there. And then it's going to, and there's no place for you to put discounts or anything on the system. We don't know why, but that's why you have the physical copy of, the invoice. Then you come over here, and you always have to make sure this drop-down menu here is on the week that you held it. So today is a Monday, and it's always going to run Sunday to Saturday. So if this was for something that was for last week, you have to make sure that you're under that particular week. Okay. So that's just, That's just something that you want to make sure you're in the right week. Okay. So then if you go through the steps that way and say it was for this particular week. So if I had put Jordan's through, then she would have shown up here at the top of my screen. So it would have shown her name. And then you look at it and you fill in all the other things, like how many hours, how many guests were there, you know, one order. Did she buy this SCS is skincare sets sold? Did she buy a skincare set? Okay, so you're tracking the number of your customers that are on our skincare. Okay, so then you put that there. This box here is going to be the amount. It's cash collected. So I always say cash collected. Now, each of these, I'm going to see if the pop up. So I don't know if on the screen you can see the pop up, but each of these little titles, they're underlined. And so you can click them and then it says, so for this one, it says sales less tax, all categories, your retail sales total from the sales tickets before tax. So suggested retail before tax, less any discounts. Separate by type of selling activity, skincare classes, shows, reorders. Okay, so I'm going to close that. So here, say with that 150, let's say you had a special going on, say she was a hostess or something, she had a certain amount of guests and she got a discount off that. So let's say it was, you gave her $20 off or something like that. Well, in this column, it would be 150 minus the 20. So that would be 130 because that was the cash you collected less the tax. Then what kind of appointment was it? In here, it's going to say facials. It's going to say online personal websites. Okay, so a facial is when it's one or two people on the same event. Okay, that's a facial and a double facial. When you had 3 or more together on the same event, that's a party. So whether it's in person or on webinar or on Facebook or on Zoom, okay, 3 or more becomes a party or a skincare class, okay? Say she found you on the personal website or she saw a post of yours, you know, on Instagram or something like that, and she contacted you and she bought something. That would be an online or a personal website sale, okay? On the go, say you saw her at work and you had some samples in your pocket, or she saw you had a Mary Kay pin on and she was like, girl, you saw Mary Kay, and you're like, yeah, oh my gosh, I'm loving it, you know, whatever. And like you have a conversation and she's like, I need a mascara. Okay, that is an on the go. Say you have a hand cream in your pocket and you're like, oh, I have one of the hand creams right here. And yeah, I'm trying to like, oh my gosh, get me one of those, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So that's all that. PCP and miscellaneous, meaning they got their lookbook in the mail and you did your follow-up phone calls. And so that helps you track, okay, that was a direct phone call I made to customer service, to people that are on my list. And so then you would record theirs there. Now, PCP and reorders used to be under the same category. So this is new to me, to seeing that they're, so you can choose if it's a PCP person or a miscellaneous reorder, or just put it under reorders. And then the difference between a show and a party is it doesn't matter. I don't even use the show button at all. So just keep it under parties and it'll all be great. Okay, over here where it says sales tax. So we always charge sales tax on the full retail amount that is going with your customer. So if my customer buys the Ultimate Miracle set, it's $150. If she earned a travel roll-up bag at half price, okay, the retail price right now is $36. And so that would be $150 plus $36. However, if she got the roll-up bag at half price because she did a princess set or something like that, then I'm only going to be cash collecting the $18, but I'm going to be charging her tax on the $150 plus the $36. And so when we're writing out the sales ticket, we are always, because we pay our sales tax into Mary Kay from the beginning. And so we're going to charge them back that sales tax. Okay. And so my sales ticket will now say 150, and then it'll say travel roll-up bag 36 in the first column. But then in the second column next to my 150, remember I gave her $20 off, so that'll say 130. And then the 36 next to the 36, it's going to say 18. But when I go down, I'm gonna tally both of those columns. And so 150 plus 36 is 186. I'm going to charge her tax on 186. I'm going to write that tax amount down there. And so really what I do, you guys, even though I put those discounted prices up there, I bring down the full price and do 186. Then underneath it, I have parentheses, and I'm going to take the $20 off for her hostess credit, and I'm going to take the $18 off for her half price item. So I'm going to put minus 38 right there. Then tax on the full amount is going to be next. And then that's what's going to get you your total. The only other thing I'm going to say to you is if you are shipping it out to your client once it comes, okay, then you want to be able to put that shipping amount right on her sales ticket. And what I have found to be like a universal, great number, depending on how much she buys, is $9. I mean, anything truly is that you can do 9 or 10, depending on what your tax rate is. But right now, if I can get things in a bubble envelope from USPS, that is a free bubble envelope, if I can get it in there as much as possible, it's going to cost me $9.40. Okay. So, and that's right now today. So you'd have to kind of look at that. So $10 might be just like a great number. Okay. And then once you get in and you actually have the amount of what it's going to cost you to mail it to her, you are welcome to like alter that, like on her sales ticket. What I can tell you is that you're going to have a lot of money going out the door if you are a brand new consultant and you don't account for the shipping piece. Okay. So moving forward, what I do for my customers is if it's a reorder that has no discounts, like it's not her birthday month and it's not my June 1-day sale, okay, then if it's full price product and she spends over $100, and you can do 100 or you can do 150, something, you can decide actually, then I give them free shipping. If there's no discounts on her order and their order is over $100, then I give her free shipping. But if it's a $50 order, $60, $80, $90 order, anything that's under $100, they pay actual shipping. And so in another segment, you're going to learn about Pirate Ship, which is a free discounted shipping. And that's how we weigh things at our home and get them out the door. Okay. So that's sales tax. This next column is hostess gifts. This is, if you click on this, this is for section 2 only. We do not need to fill out this column at all. So nothing under hostess gifts. Then the third one is money given away, and this is section 1. So if we're looking at Jordan's sale under given away, I'm going to have that $20 plus the $18. So the $38 is going to go over here. Okay, then the sales over here is going to be the 120 for the miracle set plus the 18. So this will say 138. The sales tax will be on the 186 number, and that's the amount of sales tax goes there. And then if there was something given away, it goes here. This very last column is non-recovered sales tax. That's if you were in that party and you were like, I forgot to charge her tax on the full price of the roll-up bag. So then you're going to calculate tax on the $18 that you didn't charge her tax on. So you didn't charge her tax on the 20 or the 18. You're going to take that $38, multiply it by your tax rate, and you're going to put that number in here. At the end of the year, when you have all your weekly accomplishment sheets printed out, that number is a number you're going to enter for taxes to get the tax write-off to come back to you, because you already paid that into Mary Kate, but you didn't get it back from the customer. When those things are full, you go ahead and hit add right here, this button. And that's going to put everybody down in this row down here. Okay. Then you start hitting the next button. And I don't know that this will let me hit next with me not putting anybody. Oh, it did. And so, so then on this one, it does give you spots to fill people in. So if you had people on Peek into Pink or our webinars, or you did a customer experience call with me and your client and you with the three of us, then you can track that right here. Okay. If you got a new team member, you can put it there. And you can also put here the number of appointments you held the previous week. These other things are going to be filled in by what you just put on that next sheet. Okay. If you did place a wholesale order this week, you can put it here. You don't have to put section 2 on here. Again, any section 2 that you buy all year, that's your bags, your supplies, your samples, it's 100% tax deduction. So you can just take your full section 2 amount at the end of the year and put it on your Schedule C list for your taxes, and you can write that off. And again, I'm not an accountant, so I always want to say that on here. You want to get an accountant that knows what they're doing with Mary Kay, and then listen to them. Okay. So as far as next week's goals and stuff, you can write it in here. I prefer you using Boxer to tell me what your next week's goals are. If this helps you track what your goals are, then go ahead and fill that out. Down here in this area where it says, I would like more information on the following, I get all these emails. So you might as well just tell me what you would like additional help on, so I can share whether it's my YouTube channel or our website on where to go for those. Okay. Or our unit meeting, because we do, regular training on our unit meeting. If you got a new team member, you can put her in here from this past week. But I also get notification when you get a new team member. So again, totally fine if you don't put it on here. Okay, so, that's for me. And then once you get to this last page, it says submit my accomplishments. That's how me, Diane Cole, your sales director, is going to get your accomplishment sheets is by you hitting submit. Now, say you made an error, you can go back in and edit any of the weeks. Just let me know that you did, and then re-hit submit so I can make sure my assistant, pulls the right figures. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share, and I'm going to hit stop on our recording.